We're unable to meet the market because there are no enough vegetation for us to be able to meet the demand and produce. So basically what we did is to think through how best we can also incorporate the community and also be able to increase our production. So we have got one of the biggest reserves in Central Region, which is also main supply of potable water into our Lilongwe city. That's only forest that supplies water into our capital city, Lilongwe. So in that forest, the massive destruction of trees and burning of charcoal. So we reached out to government through other partners. We've been able to adopt a forest 100 hectares that we are doing plantation. We have engaged the communities. We give them beehives and startup kits so they can be able to operate properly. You know, African bees things a lot. So the honey that is being produced, we have takers. We buy from them, we process and supply into supermarket. So to them, it's one of the income generating activity. We're also conserving the environment. On the other hand, we're working also with other big farms and professional farms and commercial farmers that are into macadamia plantation. The setup might be different maybe from other countries. In Malawi, mostly big companies that do macadamia. So one of the biggest companies, you have had memorandum whereby they have got over 6,000 hectares, but currently they are doing 4,000 hectares. So we are doing pollination to them. Want to increase the production of their macadamia plantation to 30% or so. But also they have engaged the communities to also get access to our beehives. We give them beehives so that they can be also to put in their farms. At the end of which we buy honey from the communities, but the honey that is being done from our hives is our own hive. But also we also get a commission from these guys because we're helping them increase the production of their macadamia. So it's a win-win situation whereby they are increasing their production. We're able also asked to increase the bee population, as you're aware that there's a bee depopulation globally due to pollution and also other pollution factors globally. Us by promoting it also helping to conserve bee biodiversity. With the communities around, it's also a source of income to them. They're winning by selling the macadamia into the big commercial buyer, and also they're able also to sell their honey to us. So apart from also helping the community to restore the part of Zalanyama forest, it is also part of conserving the forest to not evaporate, because most of the dams that nearby, there was a research that was conducted that we might not have potable water in 2030 instead of Lilongwe if there'll be no any alternative the way people are cutting down the trees. So it's so an initiative whereby the potable water is being conserved through this restoration of landscape. So basically it's what we are doing. It's a private company, but also be able to work, having different initiatives to incorporate the communities and be able to restore landscapes, but also be able to meet demand for the honey. So yeah, thank you.
What catches my attention is the aspect of pollination, working with macadamia farmers to be able to increase the production. But that's not enough. You getting paid for that service and at the same time getting to harvest the honey, which you go further to actually process. And I'm wondering for the different entrepreneurs here who are doing honey, is that a model that you could actually adopt? Are there people you can actually partner with in your country? So feel free to drop a message on the chat and we'll definitely be able to look at it. At the moment, there are so many questions coming in, and especially on processing of timber. Hussein, I want you to perhaps unmute and ask your question. And then there is somebody called TechnoSpark. Maybe you can name yourself. There's a very good question around groundwater in relation to eucalyptus. So we want to address that as well. Hussein, you can be briefly so as we can be able to have more questions.
Yes, thank you. I have two questions to the two presenters. First one is sustainable construction materials. It's really a very good project. It adds value to the forest and from production to marketing. My organization is involved in producing seedlings for the last 25, 30 years. We distributed over 2 million and farmers have now matured eucalyptus and different kinds of trees. The challenge is we don't have sawmill, especially to go to rural areas and buy from the farmers. The middleman go to the rural areas, buy very cheap, sell to urban, make profit. The farmers are suffering. We are thinking of going into this harvesting. Do you have that mobile technology of sawmill to add value to the timber and motivate farmers to plant more? Trees are there. We are producing seedlings. The challenge is marketing and the farmers are discouraged. That's my first question to the first presenter. The second is biogas. A lot of international NGOs have started biogas in rural areas. The technology they have is too expensive for the small farmers to replicate, and it also requires a lot of labor. How did you manage these two aspects? Do you have a specific technology which is affordable to the small farmers? Thanks.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Indeed, biogas technology initial cost is quite high for most farmers. And what we've done is to bring in affordable, installment payment, whereby the farmer can pay even up to 2 years. And that enables, that makes it more affordable to most farmers, because once we install a biogas system for them, that means we are saying they've started saving money. So we say the money that you are saving, you can pay back until you finish paying it. And our technology can stay up to 20 years, okay? So mostly within 2 years, a farmer can pay back the system, and the rest is they're able to save, and it's the money that they can put in their pocket. On another note, you were saying about the time it takes to install a biogas system. Our systems are, we call them modern biogas systems. It can take a day to install our system. And normally maximum of 5 hours, you are done with installation. So it's not like those traditional biogas systems whereby you have to dig.
Hello, what's wrong?
Lost you. Maybe it's connectivity.
Yes, I'm not hearing at all.
Yeah, I'm also not hearing.
I hope they'll be back. Let's give them a second. We had lost your voice, like your
It's
connection.
back now.
Yeah, I think you can continue. You are on mute. You are on mute. We can't hear what you're saying.
Sorry.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All
Can you
right.
hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, Mr. Hussein. I was saying depending on the terrain of where your trees are amongst the people who have the trees, there are many mobile units that you can use. In fact, that may be even more efficient. Maybe a wood miser LT15 or an LT20 wood miser. You can actually, that's going to be obviously petrol run or diesel run on location. So you can drop your trees, you mill the logs into timber planks on location, and therefore it makes it more efficient to load them onto a truck and then take them to a central processing section. So rather than logging and bringing them all the way there, it might be easier bringing a mobile sawmill like a wood miser LT15 or an LT20. Then you can run it on location near the logs, get the trees, get the pine, and then bring them to a central processing. I think that was your question, yes? Mobile sawmilling. Did I get you correctly, Mr. Hussein?
You're on mute. You're speaking, Mr. Hussein.
Mr. Hussein.
Yes, I got the answer. I will appreciate if you send me the details so that I look for those. That's one of my pitch I'm preparing.
Okay, I'll gladly, through Mr. Samuel, send you the details of this equipment for sure.
Thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome.
Yeah, Nebiu, I see you have a point. Do you want to unmute yourself and go next?
Who is it?
Nebiu?
Yes,
Nebiu.
I'm hearing. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, you
Yes,
can go
I'm
ahead
hearing.
and give your comment. I see on the chat.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, eucalyptus is a very dangerous tree. I recognize its effect on environment and other ecology is very dangerous. It pumps groundwater. I think I read in some literatures, it pumps out 6 liters of water per day. And its leaves have an allelopathic effect, which release chemical that prevent growing any grass or living trees. In the area where massive eucalyptus plantation appears in our area, drought is very common. Drought is very common. Soil nutrient deplete, even soil organic matter, insects.
Okay. Hey guys, this is Amanda. I think hey guys, I think that we want to respond to the question because we understand that there are a lot of concerns about plantations. So we'll move on to the next question, and I'll need to mute a few people. Excuse me, sorry.
Okay.
So Nebiu, thanks for the question. Let's have the response.
Yes, Nebiu, we have received your question. Eucalyptus being a harmful tree. So let's get a response from an expert.
Mr. Nebiu, I'm not going to pretend and say I'm a forester. I'm not a qualified forester, but from the forestry officials that work for us, our plantation is in a designated extremely high rainfall highlands, and it was designated it could handle eucalyptus. We don't, out of our 4,000 hectares of concession area, I would say maybe 500 hectares of that is going to be eucalyptus. So in terms of significant amount of damage to the area, I think that is minimized. I think you'd have to have millions of hectares of eucalyptus to really damage the environment. I don't know the science, but our area was designed for this plantation in the 60s and 70s. It's a very high rainfall area, and the rainfall patterns and the groundwater patterns, according to the studies, from the Department of Forestry haven't really been affected by having, I think that the area we're talking about is like 54,000 hectares in total. And out of that, I think there's barely 4,000 hectares of eucalyptus. So the rest of it is pine. So your concerns are justified. It's true. You really do not want to plant eucalyptus in very stressed lands. You're right about that. And the effect it has on the environment. You're absolutely right, Mr. Nebu. But where we do it, it's not a big mix of our plantation species. It's not a big mix. And we're working on a new species with the local university forestry department, the Malawian Forestry Research Institute, to try and find an alternative fast growing species. Because obviously we're running factories, so we want 5 years to 6 years maximum that we can use those trees for our factories. So we're constantly looking for more sustainable, environmentally friendly trees. But your point about eucalyptus is very well noted and is correct.
Peterson Nyasuru, you say there is a research done on the same in Malawi. Perhaps you may want to speak about it. Peterson, feel free to unmute yourself.
Oh, that's talking to you directly. Peterson's your friend, man.
I know him.
Basically, I'm talking about the same, more light to that. Of forestry here. I think once the research is over.
We're going to, Peterson, actually, we have to share the bills of this. We're meant to, remember, we haven't discussed it yet on the group, but all the concessionaires are supposed to sit down and do this lit review together.
Yeah, I thought you'd share more about the tree itself. I thought you'd talk more about it.
Yes, we can. Obviously, listen, it's an open secret. It's not a big deal. It's Paulownia elongata. It's native to Japan and China. There's still a lot of lit review that has to be done on it. That's why we all need to get together as concessionaires and sit down with Zuzu University Forestry Department and FRIM, and then do extended trials across all sections of our concession. I think our concessions are neighbors. So yeah, let's sit down and all of us get together and see how we're going to get this lit review done.
Thank you.
Oh, FRIM, sorry. FRIM stands for Forest Research Institute of Malawi, based in Zomba. It's our premier research institution that verifies and certifies any new species or any research, because there's a government gazette that says which species can only be planted in specific government plantations. So we can only plant this new species after FRIM, and we have come up with a 2, 3, 4, 5 year study. But I look forward to talking with you some more, Bwana Nyasulu.
Okay, I see a lot of questions coming in, but let's digress a little bit from that discussion. I know it can tend to be debatable from where we sit. And I'm looking at my other two panelists here who happen to be active youth from Malawi. And I know, or rather the Land Accelerator, 50% of the participants are actually youth. And these gentlemen are doing amazing work. We saw their factories. Maybe how did you start? We may want to know, how did you get into this business? Clement, how did you get into biogas? You said it's new in Malawi. You might be the third person who is doing this. And also Frederick, in terms of honey. Frederick is the third largest honey processor here in Malawi. How did you get into this business? Maybe we can start with you, Frederick, and then we can get to Clement.
Thank you so much, Samuel. Actually, I'm just passionate for entrepreneurship and also passionate about sustainable businesses. Something else that we have grown up from our own villages, seeing my parents doing beekeeping, but it wasn't in a proper way. But later on, when we are growing. I thought it wise to commercialize it. So it's very funny that unfortunately I studied engineering, information engineering, but because of the passion about what I believe in it, I tend to be into entrepreneur in terms of money and looking at other parameters and the ecosystem, how it's operating now. We had also to change and find best approaches to sustain our business so that it can have a win-win situation whereby we are also making profit, but also we are conserving the environment and also impacting the community on the other hand. Yeah.
Amazing. Passion, very keyword right there. Clement, is it the same? Is it passion? I've never seen a biogas myself. So where do I even start? So how did you start?
So I think we can show we have systems here in Blantyre. Okay, so I also never started anything to do with biogas. And for me, my study, I did the agronomy, mostly to do with soil and crop science, okay? And now I heard about biogas in school whenever it was part of the course whereby they were saying you can make cooking gas and fertilizer from agriculture waste, okay? So by then, coming from rural setting, our parents had lots of animal manure, but then we were struggling, especially my mother, struggling with cooking fuel, okay? But also we were spending a lot of money on fertilizer, okay? So I was like, why this technology is not widely available in Malawi, okay? So since then, I started doing research. As I said, we started in 2018, but we've been doing research so that we should understand the business aspect of it, but also the technology, okay? And then this enabled us to come up with a business model, but also bring in the technology that can suit the Malawian market. And of course, to do all these things, it has been passion because it's not easy, okay? Just from scratch, I think for me, it was just from college, okay? And doing business up to now. For me, I can brag to say, yeah, we've done quite amazing achievements. We have been on BBC Africa, we have been on Forbes, we have won quite a lot of awards, almost over 9 awards and recognitions. I think it's not an easy achievement, but that has been through passion, but also learning from other entrepreneurs how they're doing and trying to bring it so that we scale up. Sure.
Passion, learning from the rest of the team, researching the key words I'm actually getting and how Clement was able to get into biogas. I know for those who are in Kenya, biogas sector keeps on growing, and Clement is actually learning from some of the entrepreneurs from there. We are here in Malawi, and why we are here is because we have come together as stakeholders to be able to catalyze the movement towards achieving 100 million hectares. And I want us in that spirit to be able to reflect a few things. And I know one of the sessions we are going to have is a topic around restoration movement in Africa, where we get to share with you what is happening and how you can be able to be part of it. But because we are here with the entrepreneurs and they have been listening to the different discussion, perhaps in your own thinking, how can entrepreneurs be part of this bigger movement? We have seen government here, we have seen NGOs, we have seen private sector. What is your role? How do you feel you can be able to plug in as an entrepreneur? We'll start with Mr. Tawonga here.
Thank you, Samuel. That's
Very academic question.
I think just okay. On a base level, I think we're contributing to this as entrepreneurs. All of us who are businessmen. My two young companions here in entrepreneurship know every day that you get up, you run your operations, you pay your workers every month, you keep the lights on. Even that basic survival of surviving devaluations, international fuel shocks, that simple routine of surviving, of just moving one step in front of the other, contributes to the bigger picture. I think of this grand 100 million hectares as entrepreneurs. I think just every day doing what we need to do. I think that in itself, according to me, is one step in this. Keeping aware of your environment and your community. I think we're here to make money, to make profits, so we can pay off our loans and invest for the future. But I think as entrepreneurs in Malawi, as entrepreneurs in Africa, I think our social sense of responsibility should never be switched off. We should always, I think we should be aware of the community. Even in our extended family system, we understand you're not a one-man island. So I think as a business person, how we interact with the environment, fellow business people, using people you meet at conferences and start using, like, for example, we're going to discuss with my brother here on how we can use his fertilizer for our nurseries. Yeah. We can talk to my other brother here on how we can understand and learn from him about beekeeping in our plantation. So I think this kind of awareness of the people around you is how I think we are contributing to this. I mean, government is government. They do what they do with their policies. Banks do banks. International organizations do. They bring us together in these environments. But I think it's just that every day doing what we need to do contributes to this bigger picture. Thank you.
Amazing.
That is true.
Yeah, amazing. We should never digress. Let's remain focused and do what we are supposed to do as entrepreneurs. Clement, your contribution to the movement.
Yeah, our contribution is, as I said, majority of Malayans here are using charcoal, which is contributing a lot of deforestation. Like, for example, like a family, standard family, almost use 8 standard trees each and every year, okay, for cooking, which is a lot of trees as we're looking out at our population. So coming in to bring in alternative cooking technologies that enables the families to no longer use those trees. That means most trees are saved. Deforestation, no longer deforestation. So mainly, like our plan is to install 10,000 biogas systems in the next 3 years. This is quite a lot of trees that are going to be saved, but also at the same point, we're talking about job creation, but also somehow economy of the government improving, because you're bringing money to the people instead of those money that spend on energy and fertilizer. The people have money in their pockets that now they can spend to other important things like school fees, even school, paying for good hospitals and the likes, even building good houses. Yeah, so basically this is how we are contributing to the this initiative.
And it's a great contribution, I'd actually say. If you come here in Malawi, we came from Lilongwe to where we are in Blantyre, more than 4 hours drive. And along the way, we could actually see people selling charcoal, quite a lot. And today we are privileged to be joined by our partner organization here in Malawi. So we do have the Deputy Chief of Party for a USAID project that we're implementing. His name is Blessing. Thank you so much for supporting these amazing entrepreneurs here in Malawi.
to be able to eradicate the problem that we have for charcoal. Yeah, so maybe we can have him say hi. That's Blessing.
Yeah, hi everybody.
I think more than blessed. I think more than that. Maybe we can ask the question to him as well.
Yeah, you may
they've
want
been
to
working
mention about the
6
project
years.
that you are doing here, an aspect to do with charcoal and forest management. Yeah.
Yes. Hi everybody else. Modern cooking for healthy forests. Indeed, one of the key issues to look at alternative fuels and alternative cooking technologies, fuel efficient cooking technologies, bearing in mind that I think everybody else agrees in Malawi that the key driver for deforestation is the high urban demand for illegal charcoal. And so entrepreneurs like EcoGen, whom we have interacted even as a program through what we call an accelerator program, where you are trying to increase their business skills and hopefully that they can scale up those particular enterprises is one key area where I think our project has actually been supporting. We had a $1 million clean cooking fund, which actually attracted almost 7 such entrepreneurs who are either involved, like in the case of EcoGen, biogas technology, but we have also other people that are dealing with sustainable charcoal, briquettes, things of that nature. So indeed, it's really our intention to see that we increase the supply side of the alternative to illegal charcoal, while also at the same time trying to promote the demand for adoption of those particular technologies. So we also do some consumer market research within the urban setting so that we understand to say, what are the technologies that are out there, which perhaps consumers would be willing to buy, and at what affordable price that they could have. But we're also engaging government in a different fronts in terms of looking at the affordability and supply of some of those alternative technologies. Like, for example, gas. This government has removed the taxes on that, but we're also trying to implore government to remove duty taxes on some of the equipment that people use for using this particular technology. So indeed, we are excited to be with these entrepreneurs who are in one or another trying to help in addressing very key issues in Malawi, increasing the adoption of alternative technologies in terms of fuel, but also cooking technologies, but also how can we increase the supply? That indeed, we should not just increase the demand, but we should make sure that indeed those alternative technologies are available, but also most importantly, affordable. In the restoration space, yeah, we have, like what she said, Zalanyama is one of the key forest reserves that the government has put as a priority. Yeah. But there are 6 other forest reserves that the government has put as a priority, where we are working in, not only in terms of improving governance and management of that particular forest reserve, but look at the whole entire landscapes in terms of what can we do to increase the restoration movement, be it in terms of stream and riverbank protection, natural regeneration, trees on the farm, soil and water conservation, and you name it. So we have a landscape approach in terms of how we are really trying to promote forest and landscape restoration in the country. Yeah. So I think in brief, that's what I can say in relation to, I think, the subject matter at hand.
Thank you. Thank you. My good friends online, you can see from here in Malawi, it's a movement. We are creating a movement to be able to restore our degraded lands and providing alternative. And everybody is so much willing to journey with us. Frederick, perhaps you may want to share how you're contributing to the movement, and then we'll call it a day.
Thank you so much, Samuel. I thought everything has been already exhausted by the 2 musketeers.
No, there's 3.
Just to chip in and contribute, it's not easy to be an entrepreneur. Everyone here is doing amazing work all over the world. For the fact that you've been part of this accelerator, you're doing amazing work. For the fact that you're at this side of the world, we are doing amazing work. It's so encouraging to see our kind of madness of believing into conservation and restoration as young people, these things, slang, I talk by the young people. Young people always talk about fashions, this and that. But we chose not to talk about that, but talk about natural conservation. Talk about initiatives that promote sustainable way of doing things. It's also a treat for other fellow entrepreneurs across to see things in different ways. We are not looking at this stage, we are not looking at 5 years, but we are looking at 10 or 20 years more to come. How will we have more disastrous if one take care now?
Yeah.
So let's take a role. Let's take initiative to do the restoration. Don't give up. Just want to encourage. It's not easy, but don't give up. Let's find ways, but let's go into our passion, our vision, whatever made us to venture into all this, what we're doing. Let's believe in it. Let's keep pushing. I think we can be able to make a beautiful world and a green world. Thank you.
All right.
Amazing final words from Frederick. Yeah, so let's not give up. Let's continue. So thank you so much to my panelists. We had to do this live from Malawi, and it has been amazing. As you can see, we are happy people here. It's always great when you come together physically, and I hope we can do this again in Rwanda. So if you have not started to look at the form for phase 2, please do check. I did send you an email for phase 2, and who knows, we might do a live forum in Rwanda, and you'll be happy like we are. And yeah, you'll be able to do the things that we are doing here. For the colleagues in Malawi online, yeah, feel free to look for us. We are here in Blantyre. Come and buy chambo. Chambo is a local Malawi fish, a very delicacy fish. Yeah, Peterson, we miss you. Clinton, I believe also Fanny. Yeah, you guys, make sure you look for us. We must eat that fish together. Otherwise, thank you so much for finding time to join us. It's been great. And I see from the comment, you guys are happy with the session. We will definitely continue to engage. So let's meet next Tuesday. We are going to go through video making, which is a requirement for phase 2. Otherwise, do have a great evening. See you next time. For us, we continue to enjoy Mandazi from here. See you next time. Okay. Yeah, so
we do gotta lean over.
Great work.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Though I've gone with a very burning question.
Oh, we got a
to
question.
see
We got a
you.
last question. What's it?
Yeah,
What's the last question?
Yeah, I have a question on the percentage of the effects of the root cause of maybe the causes of deforestation between charcoal and crop like maize crop production. Which one has the highest percentage? Maybe in Zambia, maize and soybeans production, as people are trying to clear the fields for maize production, it
might differ by country. But the World Resources Institute says that 95% of deforestation. I'm gonna have to put you on mute. Sorry, I can't hear. 95% of deforestation in Africa is caused by shifting agriculture, which is what you say, planting more agricultural products. But that might differ in a different country like Malawi, where there's so many people in such a small area that all have a demand for firewood. So it can differ country by country, but that's what we see at WRI. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you so much. I was
Thanks,
debating on that.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
But Clinton, aren't you doing fertilizer?